And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy, Will Dickinson. The Sweet 16 is set. So let's talk about some of the great storylines and games that we've got from the weekend. The first week is over. I couldn't bring you episodes the other days. It's just I've stayed up so late, I tired sleeping, and by the time I could record a video, games are already starting. So it really didn't make much sense to me to record. But we got a Sweet 16 set, so I'm going to talk over some of the best storylines, and we're just going to go through region, and I'll update you on my bracket by the end of it. We will be getting I guarantee you we're going to be doing a second chance bracket video that's probably going to either come tomorrow or Wednesday. That should be good. And obviously Sweet 16 starts on Thursday, then we have the Elite 8 on the weekend. And then boom, we'd only have 4 teams after this weekend, which is just so crazy. And we only have 16 left. We started with 64, and we're up down to 16 left. I checked on my preseason power rankings because I always want to see, or my preseason poll, I want to see how many of my teams I have ranked that are in the Sweet 16, and I believe it was 10. I believe it was UConn, San Diego State, Illinois, Houston, Duke, Marquette. That's already what is that? 6. North Carolina, Bama, 8. That's 8. Arizona, Creighton. It was 11. Wait, no. It might have been 13. I think it was 13. I think the only ones I didn't have was Iowa State, NC State, and Clemson. So yeah, I mean, it's been a chalky March Madness, which is, I can't describe it. I don't know if it's underwhelming or what, because I think honestly we're going to have the best games. This Sweet 16 is going to be like, it's going to be absolute cinema. It's going to be amazing because we have the best teams in, which is what you want. Like the last time all one seeds made it was in 2019, and that's one of the greatest tournaments ever. And not because of the first round, which had some good games, but it was because of the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four, and the National Championship were all amazing games. So I think that's what we're going to get here. So yeah, let's talk about what's going on. We got the East region. I think there's some interesting stories here. UConn's looked dominant as always. Donovan Clingan, Tristan Newton, Cam. I mean, the whole gang has been there. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, had maybe the worst take of all time. It's a tough look, man. You gotta almost retract that statement or something. He said UConn would make the Eastern Conference playoffs. They would win like 5 games, but UConn might win the national championship. They were my pick. They've dominated each 2 games walking through. They're going to Boston. Hot. That'll be the first game. Is it one of the first games? 7:39 on Tuesday or Thursday. So it's not the first game. It's not the first game, but it's the second game. So that's cool. Then the other one, I think the other, I mean, they're playing San Diego State. San Diego State had 2 easier games. UAB, they escaped, and then they go and destroy Yale. Jalen Ladee's been that guy. I'm gonna start posting more reels in here on my other TikTok. You can search up at WD Sports 4. Maybe I'll change that handle, but I just been posting content over there. You can go check it out. I'll try to put the link in the description. I don't know if I can or not, but I will try to do that. I'll be creating it. I'll post the reels on this YouTube. I'm gonna be doing my top 16 players left in the March Madness because of Sweet 16, and I'm gonna rank every team. But I would say San Diego State's playing really well. Ladie has obviously been a beast, and that sets up a national championship rematch, which is great. And then the other matchups, Illinois, Iowa State. Illinois is a juggernaut. I like to use that word for very few teams. And right now, I think 3 teams deserve the name juggernaut. And that's Illinois is one of them. UConn's another. Illinois, so far, 85-89. Terrence Shands had 27-30 in 2 games. Domas had that triple-double in game 1. And it had, I think, 22 and 7 assists in the last game. Illinois' offense is amazing, but I think it sets up an interesting match because Iowa State has the best defense in the country. They, Washington State did keep it close with them. They ended up pulling out a win there. Taman Lipsey was good. Gilbert was good. And you had this production from a lot of the other guys, which Iowa State needs. And they're not the most flashy team, and they're not the team that's going to get everyone excited to watch. And I think that's why I picked Iowa State over them or Illinois over them in my bracket. And look, I got out of my Elite Eight teams, I think I still have 7 of them. Oh no, I have 6 of them left, and I have all my Final Four teams left. So my bracket right now is not looking great, but it can be salvaged. But that should be a really good match. I'm not gonna really dive into my predictions or matchups. That will wait for my filling out my redemption bracket. But I will say that's going to be a fun matchup with 2 different styles. Obviously, I had Drake being Washington State, and then they could be Iowa State, yes, but Iowa State's deserved it, and they're going to have a tough matchup. I think this is a way level up of competition. Illinois is one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. Let's move down to this West region, where we have UNC's been dominating. They go beat Michigan State pretty handily after kind of looking shaky those first couple minutes in the game. They were down. They come back great. RJ Davis had an amazing game, but we saw a great game from Harrison Ingram, Baycott. Seth Trimble's been big off the bench. UNC's playing really well, but it matches up with an interesting game in that Alabama. Alabama takes down Grand Canyon. What a game that was. That game didn't feel real watching that. Shout out to Tyron Grant Foster, who played amazing for GCU. But Bama wins. Mark Sears is him. I think that's obviously a point guard match with 2 of the best in the country, and RJ and Mark Sears. They both been playing really good basketball. Sears has been a little bit better so far in these 2 games. Not a little bit. He's been better. And both these teams have, GCU kept it close, but both teams have been playing well. Bama wasn't a team I trusted too much to get here, but their defense wasn't bad last game. GCU just tried to play too much like Bama, and these 2 teams and Bama and North Carolina like to go fast, so that should be an interesting matchup. And great point guard play, and we'll see how Alabama will deal with Baycott down low. Clemson Zona is the other matchup. Wow, Clemson. No one really believed in Clemson, I would say, going into this NCAA tournament. They were the most trendy they were underdogs in the first round matchup against New Mexico as a 6 seed. They dominate that matchup, and then they go play Baylor yesterday and dominate. They almost choked. Jacoby Walter, from the free throw line was ice cold. Baylor chokes in the down the stretch there, making free throws. But Clemson survives without a great game from PJ Hall. It's really good job by Brad Burnell, who kind of came into this year with a little job, insecurity, I would say. Like, we didn't know the confidence that Clemson had in him, but he's led this Tigers program to a Sweet 16. After last year being one of the first teams out, Joe Girard's come in and been amazing. Chase Hunter was so good. And, Clemson here, I guess the big storyline is the ACC, right? I forgot about talking about that in UNC, but that's the big storyline. They have 4 of the teams in the NCAA tournament. And I guess what I can say is I live in ACC country. I've talked about this all year where I defend the ACC, but a lot of people that don't watch much college basketball with me that live in this area will say the ACC is always underrated. Like, they always do best in March, and how we have the Big Ten or the Mountain West get more teams. And I say, look, the top of the ACC is always solid, but but the bottoms in recent years have been dog shit, and it's true. But I will say the ACC runs March. In the tournament, ACC teams always come through. Virginia lost in the playing game. Pitt should have been in over Virginia. It was a joke. But we see the Big East in the ACC. They have 7 of the 16 teams, and 7 of the 16 teams are from those 2 conferences. So shout out to the ACC, man. They prove why they are such a good basketball conference here, and they deserved more than what they got. 5 bids, and they probably should have been a 5-bid league. But maybe we need to start realizing, the ACC is still really good and not doubt them in March. And Arizona, they beat Dayton pretty easily. It got a little interesting there, but we're all hoping for the Arizona versus UNC matchup. Caleb Love, RJ Davis. We're all rooting for that. So I feel pretty confident happening, but obviously the favorites have been rolling in this since the first round. The favorites won 15 out of the 16 games in the round of 32. So if that trend continues, we'll see that matchup, which will be amazing. Let's move over to the South region where my JMU Dukes, I didn't get to talk about them, but quick appreciation. What a magical season it was. They took down Michigan State to open up the year, and then they make the NCAA tournament. They get Wisconsin and beat them. Yeah, it was a good run, but they came with so much physicality and energy in that Wisconsin game that really made you believe that it could be JMU like the Cinderella team. And then that Duke game, they didn't match the energy at all. They looked like they were kind of intimidated and scared by Duke. And Jared McCain, who I've been hyping up all year, I've known Jared. He had a game. He had himself a game, put up 30 points easily, couldn't miss. Duke's been rolling. Obviously, another ACC team there. And they got to face a Houston team who's looked a little skeptical. Obviously, they lost that Big 12 championship game, and then they allowed 95 points to Texas A&M in a win. Man, was that game crazy. Great comeback from A&M. Houston was just, the refs were, they were everything Houston was doing was a foul there, but they ended up pulling out, Jamal Shed, maybe the best point guard in the country. But they're going against a team who's been playing better than Houston, I would say. Obviously, in this NCAA tournament they had, Duke's defense has been on another gear in these two games, allowing 47 and 55 points. So that should be a great matchup there. Houston's obviously had a great deal all year, but they just allowed 95 to a hot A&M team. So that should be again a really, really great matchup, a 1-4. And we'll see, can Duke break through? Flip hasn't even been the guy there. In my opinion, Flip's not the best player on Duke. When I rate my 16 best players, I don't know if Flip's going to be on that list. I'm being honest, because I think Jared would be on my list and not Flip. Obviously, I would have, Jamal Shell on that list for Houston, and we'll have probably 2 UConn players, Ladie, like Taman Lipsy. Like, am I going to Flip or Taman Lipsy? Or am I going to Terrence Shannon? I didn't even speak. Terrence Shannon's playing like the best player in college basketball right now. He's probably going to be 2 on my list. But yeah, Jared's been playing the best over there for Duke. NC State's in the Sweet 16. I'm wearing an NC State shirt right now, actually. Shout out Kevin Keats basketball camp. NC State's in the Sweet 16. I live in the Raleigh area. It's a crazy thing, right? I think Kevin Keats would have been fired if they lost that game, probably to Duke. But now they're in the Sweet 16. Obviously, DJ Burns has been the story for NC State. He's been an absolute joy to watch. I always give Dog of the Year. I mean, it's DJ Burns to lose. I think he's going to win that award. He's just been so fun to watch, and it's crazy how good he is. But in that game against Oakland, we were pulling for Oakland. Come on now. Golke had a great run. He's going to be a March legend forever. Didn't have as an efficient game, but still had a good game. And Trey Townsend was amazing. He was the best player on the court in this one, but Oakland choked it down. There were chances at the end of the game they didn't get it done. NC State hit some big time threes. I mean, Oakland was just allowing NC State get wide open threes in that game. So shout out to State, man. They're into the Sweet 16 with Kevin Keats. This first time since what? I think it was 2015? So crazy stuff there. Shout out to the Wolfpack there. They're the Cinderella team, I guess you would say. Even though they're a high major team, they're a Cinderella team. Marquette, but they're going to get Marquette, who has looked really good. Tyler Kolek's been amazing in these 2 games, and they held off Colorado, who had a very good comeback in this game. KJ Simpson de Silva, Cody Williams, great year from the Buffs there. To win a game and almost make the Sweet 16. Marquette's rolling. They're going to be there. I think they're 6.5-point favorites in this game. That should be a really fun one. And shout out to the Golden Eagles, man. Shaka Smart finally getting to a Sweet 16. It's been a while. And then the final region, the Midwest. I got 1 game wrong in my Midwest. I'll show you real quick. I might as well just show you my bracket at this point. So let's look. I'm at 410 points. It's bad. Ranked 12 millionth, 54 percentile. It's a bad bracket. It really is. But all my Final Four teams are available. Houston, Creighton, Arizona, UConn. So I could get one matchup right in the Final Four: UConn, Illinois, and Creighton, Purdue. But look at this Midwest region; it's so close to perfection. Purdue right, Purdue right, Utah State won, Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. This Sanford game that the refs sold Sanford would have been the difference, because Oregon, Creighton, Texas, Tennessee, Texas, Creighton, or Tennessee, Tech, Creighton. Sweet 16 perfect. We'll see how the next round goes, but I got one game wrong in that whole region, and it was because of the Sanford getting sold. So man, that could have been a legendary bracket. But no, it's still good. This is probably my I'm most excited for this region, I would say. I mean, yeah, I'm most excited for this region. Purdue Gonzaga should be an amazing game. Gonzaga is playing probably better than almost any team in this tournament besides Illinois and UConn. They rolled Kansas and they rolled McNeese. Graham EK's been great. Ryan Nemhard's been amazing. This team is coming together. I think that win against Kentucky earlier in the year at Kentucky was what flipped the switch for this team. Brandon Gregg came in, hit big time shots. I think that really hurt Kansas in this one. Obviously, Kansas not full health, but Gonzaga is playing really good. That's 9 straight Sweet 16s from Mark Few. Gonzaga, they don't get it done in March. People say that's not true. Yes, they haven't won the national championship, but year in and year out, Gonzaga is in the second weekend, and they're usually a title contender. And I do truly think they can beat Purdue, but Purdue's looked obviously so amazing. What they've just beat Utah. They're coming off a 49-point win. So, or no, a 39? My dumb. I'm 39. Anyways, they come off a 39-point win against Utah State, and Edey's been, obviously he's the best player in the country, but I think these two teams, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. And the last matchup to talk about was Creighton, Tennessee. That Creighton Oregon game was amazing. Shout out to oh my gosh, Cuisinart. What's his name? Oh my god, what's his name? This is gonna piss me off that I just can't remember his name. Something with a J, bro. What is his name? Jermaine Kuznard. Shout out to Jermaine Kuznard. 40, and then what, you have 37 or 30 some in the last game. And the Fale Dante was amazing. Oregon gave an amazing fight. If they had a third, Shellstad got hurt, which killed Oregon, but obviously if they had like a third good player, Oregon would have been dangerous. But Dane Ullman did an amazing job with this team. Those two players down in the second half scored every point. But Creighton, Shyman and big shots. Kalkbrennan was amazing. Trey Alexander, almost had that buzzer beater to win, but was also great throughout that game. And Creighton, that was my team that had come out of this region in the Final Four. They're back in the Sweet 16 for the second straight year for the first time ever. And I think I like them over Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee has not shot the ball amazing in these first 2 games. They won a game in the mud against, it was a barn burner. I think is barn burner be bad or good? I usually use it in a bad sense, but I've heard people, I don't know. I'm gonna call it a barn burner in that game against Texas. Wasn't a great game. Connect struggled. He played good in the second half, but didn't shoot the ball well. And Dylan DeSude didn't kind of got, he had a good game. Man, he would miss some shots that I thought were going in. But yeah, Tennessee, Creighton, 2 versus 3, that's chalk. A very chalky region. That's probably why I did pretty good in it. But I think we got the 4 best teams in that region for sure, which I feel like we got in honestly most regions, probably besides NC State. But Kentucky was probably better than NC State. But look, they're hot. Auburn could have been better than San Diego State, but look, you can't lose to Yale. And obviously, I think Baylor's better than Clemson. But I think most of the time we got the best 4 teams. We have a stacked Sweet 16 ahead. Stay tuned for my second chance bracket. I'm going to give you my predictions for the Sweet 16 and onward. Last year, I think I was in the scenario where I just picked the same champion, the same Final Four. I'll probably do that again, honestly. But some of these games will obviously not be the same as they were. And obviously, I don't think if I go 4-4 in my Final Four, it's a great bracket. Shout out to my grandma who going into yesterday was ranked in the top 200 in all brackets. She was 8 for 8 in her Sweet 16. I think she got 14 out of the 16 Sweet 16 teams right. So shout out to Grandma Mimi. Shout out to you. And yeah, Good, congrats to your teams in the Sweet 16. Mine isn't, but I'm ready to just enjoy some great basketball. We got a couple days off, which is needed. I'm basketballed out, man. I've been watching basketball for 12 hours for that's 4 days. That's 48 hours pretty much of basketball. 4 days right, but 40 straight hours of 12 to 12 watching ball. So it's good to have a couple days off before Thursday where we're back at it again. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you. Catch you on maybe tomorrow, Wednesday.